Smollett saga shook public trust, heightened racial tensions. In the 2 months since Jussie Smollett reported a late-night attack by assailants shouting racial and anti-gay slurs, the Empire actor and activist went from victim to defendant. Police in On Tuesday, Smollett was a defendant no more after prosecutors dropped the criminal case that had loomed over him for weeks. He expressed The decision to drop charges has sparked a backlash that prompted the actors Wednesday accusing Chicago officials and police of trying to smear Smollett even after the case is closed. Smollett's bizarre saga has shaken the public trust, exposed the country's deep racial wounds and damaged his acting career and his advocacy for African Americans and LGBT issues. Left behind are Black. Smollett, who is black and gay, reported to Chicago police that he was attacked around 2 a.m. on January 29 on his way home from a sandwich shop. He said his attacker. The initial reports were frightening for many people, prompting a rush to judgment led in large part by Black Americans and fueled by social media, with politicians, entertainers, and the general public weighing in. Within days, a new narrative emerged. Investigators, since the charges were dropped, many of those same voices have been reserved, reluctant to chime in or exhausted by the whiplash developments. Their silence stood this. It was a surreal moment for some activists still angered over Emanuel's handling of the 2014 Laquan McDonald case in which a Chicago police officer fatally shot a black teen 16 times and city officials withheld video footage of the killing for months. The shooting but Tuesday's developments left some observers wondering if, in the end, Smollett's celebrity trumped his race. Prosecutors Without a resolution by jury, the case returns to the court of public opinion. Conservatives are increasingly. Black is the Associated Press national writer on race and ethnicity. Follow her on Twitter. Check out the APSA of the Jussie Smollett case.
Raindrop, truck top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.